Hello everyone. We are moving on to the last part of module 3 data communication. That is the last type of signal encoding is what we are discussing from part 11. So that is the analog data to analog signal conversion. So we already covered the amplitude modulation, how the amplitude of the carrier signal is changed as a function of changing amplitude of the continuous, what in our input is an analog signal with the which for which the amplitude is changing continuously, right? Accordingly, we change the amplitude of the carrier signal. So that technique we already seen with the variation and all. And now here we will cover the remaining two types, that is a frequency modulation and the phase modulation. Frequency modulation, of course, the term itself says that the frequency of the carrier signal is modulated to follow the changing voltage or varying amplitude of the modulating signal, which is to be modulated. The peak amplitude and phase of the carrier, of course, remains same because we are remains constant because we are talking about the frequency altering only, frequency modulation. The frequency of the carrier only changes as the amplitude of the information signal changes, keeping phase and amplitude of the carrier constant. So the actual bandwidth of the frequency modulation signal is difficult to determine exactly, but it can be shown empirically that again it is some result that people already proved and all, and we are just taking the result only. In amplitude modulation, we saw that if the original signal is of bandwidth B, then in general after doing that amplitude modulation, the resulted modulated signal is of spectrum width, that is bandwidth 2b, okay, and that is double sided transmission. And if you want bandwidth efficiency, then you can send only one sideband resulting single sideband transition where the resulting signal bandwidth is still b. And similar to that, here in frequency modulation, the result of the, when we take that frequency domain representation, you can see that the spectrum width of the frequency modulated signal is found to be 2 times, just like amplitude modulation 2b is there, but we have an additional factor that is 1 plus beta, where beta, again this is an approximated value only, that is taken in an empirical way, okay, not rigorous mathematical proof, but still the method of getting this value is out of scope of the subject. Where beta is a factor depends on the modulation technique that we used with a common value of 4. Okay. In frequency modulation, normally it is 4, and depends on some other parameter, this value of beta will change even. So the typical waveform of frequency modulation, so this is our original information, like the modulating signal which is to be modulated, and this is the carrier with a constant amplitude, frequency and phase. Now we are going to change the frequency of the carrier as per the varying amplitude of the original means information which is to be modulated. And see, here the amplitude is increasing, so to represent that gradual increase of the amplitude and then decrease of the amplitude, what we will do, we will increase the frequency of the original signal. So that is why the signal is getting so closer and closer here, right? So it will do like that gradually at that peak value it will get the minimum frequency, maximum frequency. So you know what is frequency? The time taken to complete a cycle, okay, and this is the time taken to complete one cycle is period of the signal, and frequency is inversely proportional to that, or the number of cycles per second. So as the time period decreases, when the signal is getting very dense like this, the frequency is actually increasing. So this is a increase in frequency, and then as amplitude is decreasing further to a negative value, it is accordingly the frequency is getting decreased more and more compared to the original signal. That is why we have some kind of a stretched signal here, okay, and again it is decreasing just like this, okay. So that is the resultant frequency modulated signal. That is enough. Again some mathematical formulation is there, and that is actually common for both FM frequency modulation and phase modulation, and that I put in the last slide as angle modulation, okay, that mathematical equation. And then move on to phase modulation. we normally will feel like just like that phase shift key, the phase of the signal is being inverted like that, but here it is not like that, because first you have to understand the fact that this is not a digital signal. What we have is an analog signal with a very what called continuous change in the amplitude, right? So that we have to capture by shifting our carrier signal, by doing proper phase shift. So how we are relating it is not by giving a straightforward phase shift of 180 degree or something, amplitude multiplied by -1. That is what happened in ASK, but here it is not like that. By looking at the diagram, and you feel like both the frequency modulation and phase modulation is looking same, but what they are saying is like when they are trying to change the phase as per the what called amplitude of the original signal, actually it is looking like the frequency is getting changed, and there are mathematical explanation for that. Anyway, in textbook even that part is not explained much, simply what is given in the textbook I mentioned in this slide, okay. But to understand it exactly what is happening, you need some more understanding about signal, their property, and those derivation and all. But anyway, that is not needed right now. I will explain how this is happening, and you understand in that way, okay. So phase modulation, in phase modulation, by definition you can see that the phase of the carrier signal is modulated to follow the change in voltage level of the modulating signal, and the peak amplitude and frequency of course remains constant, but as the amplitude of the information changes, only the phase of the carrier signal is changed. But we need a gradual change, not like a digital signal, okay. Here it is continuous amplitude is what we have as input. It can be proved mathematically that, and in textbook also it is written like this only. The phase modulation is same as the frequency modulation with one difference, and this difference is what you have to understand. Don't think that the phase is just changing like that. Don't expect the output like that. How the phase and the frequency modulation they are related, it is like in frequency modulation, the instantaneous change in the carrier frequency is proportional to amplitude of the modulating signal, okay. That is what we see in the change in carrier frequency. The instantaneous change in carrier frequency is proportional to the instantaneous change in the amplitude of the modulating signal which is to be modulated. But in phase modulation, what is happening is the instantaneous change in the carrier frequency, even though it is phase modulation, the frequency is getting changed on the background, but the change in the frequency is proportional to derivative of the amplitude of the modulating signal. So that is how frequency and phase are related. By simply making change of the frequency of the carrier signal as proportional to the derivative of the amplitude of the original signal, actually you are modulating the carrier phase. Actually you are changing the carrier phase, keeping the other parameters constant, okay. And even though we are saying like we are trying to keep frequency and amplitude constant, but frequency is actually getting changed when we are trying to achieve the phase modulation, phase change. And the process of phase modulation is somewhat the same as that of the frequency modulation, as whenever there is any variation in the phase of the signal, the frequency of the signal also shows variation. That is the thing here. So it is slightly confusing. I am also have that confusion, but I think that detailed reading is needed to understand that picture clearly. So for the time being, for computer science people, just have to this much knowledge is enough. That is what I feel, okay. And if you want, you can have more reading, but you have to refer some electronics textbook to understand it exactly how. So the bandwidth of the phase modulation signal is also shown empirically, just like here it is 2 times 1 plus beta b. It's the same formula, but some different derivation is here. Although the formula shows the same bandwidth as that of I mean for both FM and PM, the value beta is lower normally in case of phase modulation, around 1 for narrow band and 3 for wide band modulation, okay. But you know, in frequency modulation this beta is taken to be 4, okay. And again that is something, the formulation only we are taken without knowing how exactly we got it. So the waveform is just looking like a frequency modulation only. This is what I said. I am also initially I was also confused, but they are relating that the change in amplitude and change in derivative of the amplitude with the frequency change. Okay, in that way the phase modulation is achieved. So as the amplitude is increasing, accordingly the derivative will be increasing, right? As a function of change in means increase in derivative of the amplitude, the frequency of the signal is increased. Similarly, as a function of what is decrease in amplitude means derivative is also accordingly decreasing. As a function of decrease in derivative of the original signal, the frequency of the modulated signal is varied. So here you can see the carrier stretching, or the that corresponds to phase lag, like that they are telling, and carrier compression actually corresponds to phase lead. Okay, so how these things are related, we need more reading on this. And finally, just for the sake of that mathematical explanation, again I am listing some formulation. So normally in that Stalin textbook, they call this both this frequency and phase modulation, because together both are working almost same, right? When you are looking at in the pictorial way, both are actually changing the frequency as a function of amplitude and as a function of derivative of the amplitude, and that's all. So they are generally coming under the category angle modulation. These phase modulation and frequency modulation can be think of variations of the angle modulation. So in general, for angle modulation, this is how the modulated signal is represented. The carrier amplitude remains same, because in both case amplitude is constant anyway, cos 2 pi fc carrier frequency, but this frequency is actually changed by introducing a function, that is phi of t. Okay, for phase modulation, the phase is proportional to the modulating signal. In this definition, they are relating the amplitude of the modulating signal with the phase. Okay, but in the diagram we saw the amplitude of the modulating signal, they are related with the frequency. So that is why for frequency modulation, the frequency change is proportional to the amplitude variation of the signal, and for phase modulation it is proportional to the derivative of the amplitude of the signal. But when it comes to when we try to relate the phase, that concept will change. Just like in phase modulation, the phase is proportional to the amplitude of the carrier signal. Then what will happen in case of frequency modulation, the phase will be proportional to the derivative of the amplitude of the modulating signal. Okay, just like there we related with the frequency, but here we are relating with the phase. So that is why we call it as angle modulation. In case of phase modulation, we will get this phi of t parameter as something like NP into original signal m of t, where NP is a phase modulation index. For frequency modulation, the derivative of the phase is not like here you have to take it like this. Derivative of the phase is proportional to the modulating signal. Phase modulation, just as we expected, the actual phase of the carrier signal or the modulated signal is proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal. But in frequency modulation, the derivative of the phase of the modulated signal is proportional to the modulating signal, means the amplitude of the modulating signal. Accordingly, you want to represent this, right? And here it is just like instead of phi of t, its derivative is actually proportional to the original signal, that is phi dash of t is proportional to NF into M of t, just like that. Here NF is a frequency modulation index. In amplitude modulation also we saw something like amplitude modulation index. Okay, so that concept, again that mathematical derivation and more detail you don't want actually. For exam point of view, I'm taking this these topics, I'm just covering these topics. Just you should have an idea, like when it comes to, so normally in from computer science point of view, we are actually dealing with the higher layers. Okay, the application point of view, the algorithm design part, those things we have to give more attention. But to get the picture, actually this subject is introduced in your syllabus. But this is normally when it comes to your practical application, or when you are working also, you are not going to work in this area. Actually the communication engineer, those people who done that electronics and electrical, they are actually going to work in this area. from computer science point of view, the computer science people will be normally in that networking part, routing, algorithm generation, those things. But before studying that, to get a background on how these things are actually happening in the physical layer, this subject is actually introduced in your syllabus. So when you're studying at a different point, this kind of doubts, even I am also having it. But if you spend time on it, everything will be cleared. But actually, that is not needed. Okay. So, just for exam point of view, major points which you have to write down, I am explaining. And those who are still have interest and as minor, everything is there. If you want interdisciplinary kind of study, and that is being encouraged by your KTU syllabus. You can see how these things are derived. Everything that is good. Okay. And if you are getting much more update on it, you can inform me also, so that my knowledge also will be updated. Okay. Thank you. So with this, I will be finishing this part as well as the entire module 3. Okay, so module 3, it's relatively simple only, just a theoretical subject, and some mathematical formulation and given just to answer in your answer sheet when it comes to university exams, so that you can highlight. And just from this, what you have to take is ultimately, for we have that digital data, analog data, digital signal, analog signal. So how that conversion is happening and different techniques there, and all those things are actually happening in the physical layer. That is something closely related to the cables and the intermediate connecting devices, etc. Okay. Okay, that's also. Any doubts from module 3 as a whole, you can ask me when we are having live session on Google Meet. So please note down all your doubts that is coming. If it is possible, I will clear all your doubts. Okay, thank you.